Welcome to Sex at 10. I'm Rebecca Rosenblat, certified relationship and sexuality therapist and your host. Here to answer your questions on all things intimate. Whether you're stuck in a relationship dilemma, have issues with your body, trust, trauma, addiction, or orientation, or just need a little help with turning up the heat in your bedroom, give us a shout at 1-800-968-7836 and let's chat. Everything's fair game. If you've thought about it, we can talk about it. Let's begin with the discussion on millennial dating. And to help me with that, we're being joined by an expert in the area, certified matchmaker and relationship coach, Natacha Noël. Natacha is the founder of Absolute Bachelor Club, a boutique matchmaking agency geared towards professionals and public figures that stands out for its personal search and service. It's a headhunter for love. So we're very excited to have her joining us tonight for a fun interview. Welcome and good evening.
Good evening, Rebecca.
So excited. We've been trying to put this together and we're doing it tonight.
Yes, we are. I'm excited to be here as well.
Thank you. Natacha, in the new millennium, digital communication is par for the course. But since it isn't a face-to-face interaction, it's easy for people to get carried away and let it rip without a filter, communicating the thoughts that they'd never have the guts to share in person. So can you please begin our discussion by commenting on that?
That is so true. I love that you start the conversation with that. And that's what we have to be careful with, is not to create a false persona and to hide behind the computer or the cell phone and to create this person that's going to maybe be larger than life and not be able to show up and be this person. And that might create some disappointment for the person or for yourself.
Because the follow-through has to be there. I have friends who will say that, I put my best picture, and then when I met this date in person, they walk in and their face drops, like, no, you look different. And it's so disheartening. So, it's hard for both parties if that happens. An integral part of that nature of communication is sexting. So can you please share some do's and don'ts around that?
Absolutely, Rebecca. So let's just start by saying that sexting is risky, and that you've got to be careful with that at all times. So if you're going to do it, you want to be a tease. It's okay to initiate. You want to be playful, but you have to realize that you've got to censor yourself, and you need to realize that, for example, if you're using FaceTime, you can be photographed while doing FaceTime. So the thing that you don't want to do is send nude pictures that are going to identify you. You don't want to sext with people you don't know. You don't want to sext with people you do know because you actually don't know if you can trust them. So you've got to be really, really careful with these things because your photos can end up on online dating sites, on porn sites, and they can be forwarded to other people.
That's just it. They can be forwarded. So I always say to people, if you're putting it out there in the universe, you better be darn sure that you're okay with it being forwarded. So such great tips you've shared with us. Viewers, if you'd like to share your own comments or mishaps, or if you have a question, please call in to join our discussion right away. Natacha, let's discuss some of the benefits of connecting that way next, as in ways that couples can use their cell phones to revive their relationships.
Absolutely. The first tip I'd love to give everyone is to revive your relationship, turn your cell phones off.
When you're together, I couldn't agree more. I tell my clients you have to have at least half hour, but preferably 1 hour of one electronic-free hour with none of the electronics are on, unless they're buzzy things between your legs, of course. Because you need to kind of concentrate on each other, not be distracted.
Oh, yeah. And then if you're going to use the cell phone, then write yourself some love notes. Initiate and plan for the evening. You want to leave some anchors and then let the person know that you're going to come home, that you're wearing something different, and use that to flirt and to spice up the relationship. It's the things that you used to do when you met someone that you need to come back with, and it's appreciated.
Actually, that's a really great point, that things that you did when you met, because lots of times people will say that, we had so much more of this, so much more of that. And I say, well, are you kind of doing the romance part in the same way? Are you invested in each other, or are you distracted? And sort of, if A leads to B, it's a no-brainer that we should go back there. So I really like that you made that point. I also like the fact that you said, you can kind of send little texts to each other, because so many people share with me that it's just really delightful to have a partner send you a text thinking of you, or, wearing something risque or not wearing anything for that matter. So they can be sort of visualizing you in that way. Viewers, if you need help with any part of your relationship, sexually or otherwise, do call us right away. Let's transition into the face-to-face world. How can women attract men, Natacha?
Ooh.
Give us all the tips. I like the way you said, ooh. Let it spill.
How to attract a man is by being very confident. Confidence is a magnet. Men love a woman who walks into a room and is comfortable with herself in her own skin. They do pay attention to little things such as having nice hair, nice manicure. You also have to be very busy. So you've got to keep yourself busy with activities. You have to have a life. You can't be clingy, and that's going to attract the high-level men that you're looking for.
Absolutely, because you're showing them you have a life. Because many times men will say that if a woman is not that busy, or she's overly accommodating, hey, I don't mind coming over, I don't mind cooking for you, or I don't mind this, that, and the other. They sort of think if she's that, even though she may just be nice, they think, okay, she's that clingy, this means that I'm going to have to be responsible for keeping her entertained. Can you comment on that a little bit too, please?
Yes, men love the chase.
Yes.
So you can't take that away from them, especially at the beginning. That's the most important part of the relationship, and keeping yourself busy is crucial to attract a high quality man. If you're too clingy, he's going to walk away and go for someone who's more difficult to get, who's harder to get.
Absolutely. It's the whole hunter instinct.
Yeah.
I sometimes say to women that it's sort of like if he goes fishing at odd hours in some odd clothing, he likes the hunt. Now, if you go to him and say, honey, you don't need to leave. I went to the supermarket and here we have a salmon right here. That's not going to be very exciting. Where's the hunt? Where's the chase? And where are the stories? Any other tips that you have for women on attracting those high-end men?
Absolutely. There's something that happens. As a matchmaker, I see this all the time. So the women are set up with guys, and sometimes they do some sabotage. If they don't feel comfortable about something, they kind of want the guy to make them feel like the guy's not going to leave. And that's going to have the exact opposite effect, and it's going to make them run away. So you wouldn't want to ask a guy, hey, you're not too attracted to me, are you? Never. If the guy is with you, if he takes you out to dinner, then he's attracted and he thinks you're pretty. You don't need to go and ask those questions. It's going to wreak, self-conscious and
and desperation too. We're so fortunate to have you joining us tonight, because this is the kind of stuff that a lot of people don't think about. They're just checking in, but it does sort of reek of desperation. What other tips do you have for the ladies?
Ladies, you want to have a steady job and a structure. That's also very attractive to men. Whether the man is very well off or not, he's going to want to see that you're put together, that you have something to go to, that there's something that makes you proud. So you don't want to look like you're looking for someone to save your day, save your life, and be the person that's going to get you to move to the next goal. So if you want to buy a home, then you save the money for your home. You don't just wait to meet someone to finally get that home. You always have your own life objectives. You have to write all of that down, know where you're going in life, and you're going to attract the kind of person that you want in your life.
who wants to come alongside instead of rescuing you and taking you there. I mean, it's not a fairy tale.
Yeah.
Viewers, we'd love to hear from you. If you have questions for Natacha or myself, do call in. How about going in the other direction? Do you have some helpful tips for gentlemen as well who are wishing to attract women?
Yes, absolutely. So men, we're going to talk about confidence again. It's very crucial.
It's sexy in both directions, yeah.
Absolutely. Men love a confident man. So looks are not going to be as important, but they are, right? Women want to be attracted too. We love to have sex too. So that's going to be important. A man's got to have his things together, you know? So you have to have a steady job. You've got to have integrity. Women look for that. Do your actions match your words?
That's a big one.
And so your values and all of those things, you've got to know who you are, and you've got to be a leader. You've got to lead the lady. Now, you don't have to lead in every situation, but she wants to feel safe. So a leader will make her feel like she can move forward in the relationship, and that if she's not there to do something, that you're going to be able to pick up and do what it is that needs to get done in the house or with the children. So women are looking for those things.
It's very, very sexy, someone like that who's got their act together and who's confident. I mean, I'm glad you mentioned it again because it works in both directions, but just a person who has their act together. Because if they don't, you know, there's always that feeling, what are you going to rely on me for? It's lovely to be alongside each other, but when someone becomes that clingy or reliant, and can happen in either direction, it can be sometimes a little scary. What other tips do you have for gentlemen?
Well, when going out on first dates, guys, don't flaunt too much of your money. Don't try to show what you have. Or it's very important that some of the information that comes from the exterior. So you don't need to tell her what car you drive. She'll see it. You don't need to tell her everything that you're doing. She'll see it by conversations. Maybe you're going to pick up your phone at some point, and then she'll kind of hear that you have a meeting, and that's gonna be very exciting to her. So be careful not to brag or not to talk about things too much.
And I think that's a great point, because otherwise, how do you know that if the person is attracted to you or the lifestyle that you represent? Because we don't live a relationship, we live a lifestyle. And if you're so invested in attracting the person to your lifestyle, you can never be certain that they're into you. And then these are the same guys who later on say, okay, she just wants my money, or she's a gold digger, or whatever. But it's the same guys who kind of threw it in her face to begin with. So if you show her yourself as opposed to what you got, at least you know that she's into you and not what you have. Viewers, attraction, dating, digital communication, intimacy, you name it, we got it covered. So if you have any questions for Natacha or myself, please don't hesitate to call in. It's a great way to get expert advice. Natacha, women can often get caught up in putting a title on their relationship for clarification. So can you please discuss that next, i.e. how to know where you're at through different stages and what one should or shouldn't assume? Yeah,
so the first thing, Rebecca, is you should never assume you have the title. And you should never assume that your partner is experiencing the relationship the way that you are. Okay?
Important point, yeah.
So asking someone for a title may turn them away, especially if you haven't had the talk yet, okay? So one of the things that you can do, let's say you've moved along in a relationship or you've been dating for 3 or 4 months. You still don't have the title. You know for sure that you don't. And you don't know how to go back, because had you told him ahead of time before you started having sex that, for example, I'm not going to have sex before being in a monogamous relationship, or if you had set your boundaries, maybe you wouldn't be there. But sometimes you didn't think, you didn't plan ahead, you just went for it, you were smitten, and now what? So you've got to negotiate, Rebecca, but from a position of power. For example, if you used to staying overnight, then you might want to stop. So if you have a nice evening dinner, go out to movies, normally he'd expect you to come over, and then you say, you know what, I'm going to go home tonight. I'm going to go home, and I've in processing our
So
relationship.
not being predictable. Natasha, I have so much more to ask you. Can you please stick around after our break? Because I have lots more to ask you.
I will, Rebecca.
Thank you. We'll be right back. Keep your calls coming and let's discuss sex, relationships, romance, or whatever else rocks your boat. And keep it locked on Rogers TV because we have lots more great stuff still ahead, including your calls. So pick up that phone and call so we can...